Picture this. Every year, the world's richest and most powerful people fly in on private jets to a snowy town in Switzerland called Davos. They dress in designer suits, sip champagne, and sit in panels talking about how they're going to save the planet and build a better future. Sounds noble, right? The only problem? Behind the curtain, leaked documents and whistleblowers are exposing a very different story. This isn't about saving the planet. It's about controlling it. Welcome to the World Economic Forum, or the WEF. On paper, they're just a think tank, a meeting place for world leaders, billionaires, and academics. But according to insiders, they've been rigging data, punishing countries that don't follow their rules, and protecting dictators who pay the right price. Let's start with their crown jewel, the Global Competitiveness Report. This is supposed to be a neutral ranking that shows how strong different countries are in terms of economy, innovation, infrastructure, and growth. Governments actually use these rankings to attract investors and shape policies. But here's the scandal. Insiders claim the numbers are manipulated. Take the UK, for example. After Brexit, Britain should have been climbing in certain areas. It was improving in trade, competitiveness, and some industries. But when the report came out, surprise, surprise, the UK's score had dropped. Why? According to whistleblowers, it wasn't about data. It was about punishment. The WEF wanted to send a message. Leave the globalist club, and we'll downgrade you. Think about how insane that is. Imagine training hard for months, winning the race. But the referee decides to move you down the rankings because they don't like your politics. That's not competition, it's control. And it didn't stop there. Reports suggest entire sections of data were deleted if they didn't fit the narrative. Imagine you're a policymaker. You see your country's ranking fall. Investors get spooked. Businesses start worrying. And all because some unelected elites in Switzerland didn't like your choices. But here's the question. If they're willing to rig data, what else are they willing to do? Well, buckle up. Because the deeper we go, the dirtier it gets. In part 2, we'll uncover how money changed hands, bribes were paid, and entire nations were bought off. Alright, so we've seen how the WEF manipulates data, but the leaks reveal something far worse. A culture of bribery and backroom deals. Here's the setup. The WEF presents itself as neutral, a platform where world leaders and businesses can meet as equals. But behind the scenes, insiders say it works more like a protection racket. Want a good ranking? Want to avoid criticism? Want your scandals to disappear? All you need is money. Governments and corporations that donated to the WEF suddenly found themselves shielded from criticism. Bad press? Gone. Negative data? Smoothed over. One whistleblower described it perfectly. It was like paying mafia protection. If you donated, you were safe. If you didn't, too became a target. And we're not talking pocket change. We're talking millions in taxpayer funds funneled to Davos. Money that could have gone to schools, healthcare, or fixing infrastructure. Instead went to luxury conferences in the Alps, where elites congratulated each other, while ordinary citizens struggled. It gets darker. Some countries accused of human rights abuses still got glowing treatment because they paid their fees. Other nations who resisted the WEF agenda were hammered in reports and speeches. This is why critics say the WEF isn't about shaping a better world. It's about shaping a better world for their friends and sponsors. Let's be clear. When unelected elites can decide which governments get praised and which get punished, not based on performance, but based on payments, that's not democracy. That's extortion. And here's where it gets shocking. Some leaked communications suggest that certain WEF officials personally benefited from these deals, taking consulting fees, gifts, and even luxury trips. But don't worry, they still made time to lecture the rest of us about responsibility. And this is where the hypocrisy becomes unbearable. Because while they were cashing checks and burying scandals, they were also telling ordinary people to eat less meat, fly less, consume less. Meanwhile, they were doing the exact opposite. Which brings us to part 3, the jaw-dropping lifestyle of Davos insiders. Every January, Davos becomes the stage for the WEF's big show. Politicians, billionaires, celebrities all gathering in the name of global cooperation. But here's what you won't see in the glossy press photos: the hypocrisy. While they preach about climate change, they arrive in over 1,000 private jets. While they tell you to cut back on meat, they feast on steak and seafood in exclusive dinners. While they say ordinary people need to consume less, they stay in 5-star resorts with $10,000 a night suites. And the leaked expense reports? Even worse. Millions spent on luxury gifts, designer watches, jewelry, and first-class travel. All under the banner of improving the world. One insider put it bluntly: it's a party for the rich, disguised as a summit for the future. And the craziest part? Taxpayers often foot the bill. Governments send delegations to Davos using public funds while at home. Citizens are told there's no money for healthcare or education. Think about the message this sends. Ordinary people are struggling with inflation, rent, and bills. While elites drink champagne on ski slopes, patting themselves on the back for being visionaries. This hypocrisy is so blatant that even mainstream outlets have started questioning it. How can the WEF talk about net zero while pumping out more carbon emissions in 1 week than some towns do in a year? But here's the real twist. The hypocrisy isn't just about lifestyle, it's about control. Because while you're told to tighten your belt, they're expanding their influence. They're not just shaping the conversation, they're shaping your future. And this is where cracks begin to show. Because as the leaks spread, the pressure mounts. And at the very top of the WEF, the fallout begins. So what happens when an organization that claims to shape the future gets caught manipulating data, taking bribes and living in luxury while lecturing the rest of us? The answer: cracks start appearing at the top. Reports already suggest that resignations are quietly happening. Internal disagreements are growing. And for the first time in years, even mainstream media is daring to ask, what exactly is the WEF? But here's the part that should matter to you, whether you live in London, New York, or anywhere else. The WEF isn't just some Swiss club for the rich. Their policies, their rankings, their recommendations, they influence your government. They affect how your taxes are spent, how your economy runs, and even how your freedoms are shaped. When they manipulate data, your country's reputation suffers. When they accept bribes, your leaders are pressured. When they waste funds, it's your money that disappears. And here's the scariest part. This is only the beginning. The leaks we've seen so far are just the tip of the iceberg. Whistleblowers are stepping forward. Journalists are digging deeper. More evidence is on the way. The question is, will people pay attention? Or will the WEF continue operating in the shadows, reshaping the world without consent? So let me ask you, what do you think? Is the WEF just a harmless think tank with some flaws? Or is it one of the most dangerous influence networks of our time? Comment below, I want to know your thoughts. And if you want me to keep following this story, hit like, subscribe, and share this video. Because the truth is finally coming out, and for the first time in decades, the WEF can't hide forever.